So Zara actually has a collection of fragrances made by Jo Malone. Yes, the Jo Malone. I went to Zara and smelled a range of them. They call the Vibrant Cities collection and picked up these three that I thought were the most interesting. Now, do these fragrances have that famous Jo Malone scent, and are they worth picking up? We got Fashionably London, we've got Energetically New York, and we've got Elegantly Tokyo. And just so you know, I paid for this by myself. They weren't sent for me for a review, so you'll have honest opinions. And yeah, I only bought three because it did cost me still £90. I'm not made of money, so I didn't buy the whole collection. And there were two of the fragrances worth mentioning. The first one was Gracefully Madrid, which had a beautiful geranium note and actually reminded me of this amazing park in Madrid when I went. So that's definitely one that I would have actually picked up, but I smelled these ones first and already made the purchase. And also Magnificently Dubai. That was a really good fragrance. It was like a spicy leather vibe basically. So I didn't pick that one up because it's going to be really warm nowadays, and I'm going to be wearing these fragrances for the most part in this current climate. So let's unbox these fragrances. I'm going to switch the camera so you can get a really good close-up around the box and the bottle design. So these are the boxes of pretty much all the fragrances in 100 ml sizing. It's all cardboard, but what's really cool is you can see this white bit here is kind of textured to look and kind of have like a rough leather feel, but it does obviously feel like cardboard because that's what it is basically. On the right side are the notes for each of the fragrances. On the back, it just tells you basically this collection was created by Jo Malone, founder of Jo Loves. It doesn't say founder of Jo Malone because Jo actually doesn't work there anymore. She left back in like 2006, I think. You can see the pricing on the bottom, so still very affordable fragrances, and of course made in Spain. The right side there's absolutely nothing. On the top is just the seal sticker, and on the bottom you will have basically more information around the ingredients. So that's what you need to see about the boxes. So what we will do now is we will basically open them all up. So let's start off with Fashionably London. If we just turn it around, I'm going to do this one-handed, so please do excuse if this is a bit not as, you know, what you're used to with videos. So that opened up really nicely. Put my knife away. Let's pull out this bottle. The bottle is right on top, and this is one thing I really liked about testing it in stores is you do actually get to see the bottle and play with them, and I was very impressed with the overall look of them. It kind of reminds me of the bottle designs from Abercrombie & Fitch. It's like one of the more cheaper fragrances. It's got that same kind of bottle shape, but I mean, I do find the bottle design of this, you know, really pleasant. Obviously it has the fragrance name on the front, Zara at the bottom, the number of the collection, some more information on the bottom. These are all in eau de parfum concentration, by the way, so we should be expecting some decent performance, but let's just actually see if that is going to be the case. The cap itself is this bit here. You may think it's this whole black base, but it's not. It's just this thing, so we will take that off. So let's take a look at the atomizer. Pretty good, I would say. I really like that. And one really amazing thing is that it does actually have a magnetic cap, which is just very cool, and you would not really expect that for this price. So bottle designs gets a massive thumbs up from me basically. Now that we've got this one open, let's open up all these fragrances and then we will get on to the first impressions of smell. I was going to do a time lapse of me basically unboxing these, but I just do want to mention that when I did spray this one in the air, it smells incredible, and I really can't wait to tell you about this fragrance. So these are all of the fragrances unboxed. You can see if they have that same bottle design. One thing I've noticed is on my Fashionably London, the sticker isn't like fully symmetrical, whereas I think in like the New York one it probably is placed the best, and in Elegantly New York you can see some more spacing on the right. So definitely not for those of you with OCD, but once again it's a cheap fragrance. You do still get a magnetic cap, which is really good for the price, and it just looks really cool as well. So let's start with Fashionably London, because that is the first one we unboxed. So with this fragrance you get notes of bergamot, rose and musk. And what I've noticed is when I did smell this fragrance is you definitely get that apparent rose initially. Like even when you just take the cap off and you don't even spray the fragrance, I smell that rose straight away. It's a slightly sweeter rose. It's definitely prominent, I would say that this fragrance is more so definitely unisex, and I would say if you're used to masculine fragrances, this one is definitely not for you. I like it because I'm used to quite Middle Eastern scents, and they use rose quite often with their fragrances. You know, they mix it with like an oud base or an amber base and it works amazingly. And in this case, the rose is definitely the prominent note. It's definitely safe compared to a lot of other rose fragrances. You will find them to be very feminine and definitely something that you need a bit of confidence to rock. And I would say with this fragrance, if you are happy to wear a unisex fragrance that isn't overtly masculine, and when I say overtly masculine, I mean those typical shower gel fragrances, you know, with black pepper, pink pepper, and ambroxan bomb, then this is a really good fragrance. It smells very sexy, very elegant. But if this was on a woman, I'd find it sexy as well, to be honest. So this is a really good fragrance, and definitely one that caught my interest, and I know is a favourite amongst the Vibrant Cities collection. Like, honestly guys, this one smells really good. It smells much more expensive than its price tag would have you fooled. This one is definitely a winner. But let's get on with the next fragrance, which is going to be Energetically New York. And this fragrance is, I would say, the complete opposite of this one, because although all the fragrances are unisex, this one to me is probably the safest to wear if you are a man and you want a more masculine type fragrance. So the notes of Energetically New York are notes of sandalwood, jasmine and cardamom. And what I got from this fragrance is definitely that heavy sandalwood. So if we smell it once again, and yeah, this is what I kind of mean by that typical shower gel type fragrance. It's not a shower gel type fragrance 100%, but it definitely has that same vibe, and that's because of that sandalwood. But I also do smell some peppers in this fragrance. This one has to be it. I mean, you could wear this one to work very easily. I would say this would be a really good office fragrance, and it's quite cheap as well. But also just going around casually, this would work great for that. So I find this one to be the safest out of the bunch, and although it's not my favourite out of the three, this is the one that I would recommend the most for most people. I mean, it smells really good, guys. If this was made by Chanel, this would be a £100 fragrance easily. This is a very well made fragrance, and Jo Malone did an amazing job with pretty much the whole collection, but also just the vibrancy. Like, you have something that's a bit more very obviously unisex and something that's a bit more masculine smelling, so you can just tell her nose is definitely very seasoned. And having that Jo Malone name on a Zara fragrance is not just hype, guys. It definitely adds a difference to the fragrance, and it does make them smell really great. But let's move on to the next fragrance, which is actually my favourite out of the bunch, which is Elegantly Tokyo. Now this fragrance has notes of cherry blossom, also jasmine, sambac and akigala wood. And this is a white floral fragrance. And holy that smells amazing, guys. It's a white floral fragrance, but it's got this powderiness in the back end as well. It's very elegant. I think this one smells the most expensive out of the bunch of these three. And this one smells so good, especially in the warmer weather as we have currently. This one is a winner, guys. I just love this note. It's incredible. I do kind of get what they mean by cherry blossom, but wow, this one is an absolute winner, guys. I don't know really what else to say about it. It just smells incredible. Now with its notes of jasmine, do I smell jasmine with this fragrance? It's there, but I think the cherry blossom definitely overshadows it, and rightfully so, because I think that was the way to do this fragrance. One of my other favourite white floral fragrances is John Varvatos Artisan Pure. And I actually wore that fragrance when I visited Croatia, so every time I smell that fragrance I get reminded of those amazing beaches in Croatia. And with this fragrance I'm going to be basically doing the same thing, but wearing it in Rome when I visit at the end of the month. So after that trip has ended, I can obviously smell this fragrance once again and get reminded of those amazing streets in Rome. I mean, this one is just so gentle, so pleasing, so sexy. And I say sexy in a more refined way, not the obvious typical, you know, Versace Eros type sexy fragrance. But I think if I wore this fragrance in like a light coloured suit, it would just add some really nice refinement to my overall style. And I think this is the fragrance to wear if you want a very refined fragrance, if you want something that would work really good in the warmer weather, something that would pair perfectly with linen. It was my favourite in stores, and it's definitely my favourite after smelling it once again. But I mean, all of these three are absolute winners, guys. I mean, I'm very happy with basically what I got. And I think if I had to wrap up this video very quickly, New York is the one that I recommend for most people. I would say this is amazing if you want to get into more rose fragrances, Fashionably London. It's a very sexy fragrance, but also I could definitely see this being a bit more feminine for most people. It is a unisex fragrance, so definitely something that you need to be a bit more comfortable to rock. And my personal favourite is going to be Elegantly Tokyo. So if you do want a really good summer fragrance, I would say guys, go in stores and test this one for yourself, because I think this is an absolute winner. Are these fragrances worth it? 100% yes for me. I'm kind of tempted to go online and actually order Gracefully Madrid just to add that to my collection, because I really do love that fragrance, and especially Geranium. But I would say that definitely having that Jo Malone name on a Zara fragrance, it's an obvious difference, guys. I'm a huge fan of Vibrant Leather. You know, it's one of my most viewed videos on my YouTube channel. That is a cheap fragrance, and it definitely does smell like Creed Aventus for the most part, but you can tell it's definitely an imitation. It doesn't have that complete refinement like Creed Aventus has. Whereas with these fragrances, guys, I'm finding it very hard to find like a very chemical smell. You know, synthetics with this fragrance, they do smell definitely more natural than I would have expected for a cheaper fragrance. And honestly guys, if you do want a Jo Malone scent, you don't want to spend too much, this Vibrant Cities collection is 100% the way to go, guys. It is absolutely phenomenal. If you have tested any of these fragrances or the rest of the Vibrant Cities collection, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know which one is your personal favourite. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.